Hello and welcome back to our continuing adventures on the Let's Defend platform. Today we are going to tackle the YARA Rule Challenge. Medium difficulty. Let's see. Welcome to the YARA Rules Challenge. The exercise is designed to introduce you to the basics of YARA rules and how they work. So, looks like we're getting a Windows system with a sample.7zip and a sample.yar. Default password. I already have the environment spun up, so we're not waiting. So what is the name of this YARA rule? What is the name of the author? What is the extension of the encrypted file? What is the assembly instruction that stores the hex opcode for the YARA rule? What is the address that we can find the hex opcode with the IDA tool? All right, so I'll sit there and just poke around at this. So we've already got RDP up and connected, so let me make that visible. So let's take a look at everything that we've got. We've got our standard sample and 7-zip. So let's go ahead and get the... Really? 7-zip not installed on it? No, it is. Huh. Here's the question. Is virus total? Okay, we do have internet access. All right. So let's see. Document. Oh yeah, that's the old school. Now it's users. And likely. Let's defend desktop. Challenge files. 7-zip. And then we want to extract this one out. And we put in the standard password of infected. Bing, bang, boom. Okay, we've got that. And we're just going to drag this in. And what do you have? Revol. Oh, Linux. Okay. 4 days ago, everything else like that. Yep, accept the terms. That's fine. Let's go ahead and start a reanalysis. And we've got Notepad++. Let's go ahead and open up the sample YARA. So rule Linux underscore gwiz inlocker underscore ransomware. The author is Mark Salinas at Checkpoint Research. Oh, from 2023. So basically this is what they typically are formatted out for. Okay, so they want the name of the rule. So that is going to be the top section here. The Linux underscore gwiz inlocker underscore ransomware. Thankfully, this should be fairly simple. And yes, okay, so I've got the background visible. And we submit that, and that's accepted. And then we want the author. And so it's basically just going to take this whole section here, so it's formatted properly straight in there. So it's simple enough, at least. Oops, I cut out the H. And that's correct. What is the extension of the encrypted file? So if we go through underneath strings, we'll see $str1, short for string. So string 1, string 2, string 3, string 4, $ext for extension, $hex, $CDE1, $CDE2, and this one wants uint32 to be a hex value, and either two of the string values align, and the ext or the hex, and then one of the CDEs. So effectively, if they went through and changed So effectively what we're looking for is the $ext for extension, and that's .mcrgnx, just by reading the sample. And so if we had something else like .mcr as opposed to mcrgnx, and say the hex value wasn't 66, 30, 66, 64, 62, 33, 64, 38. Maybe it was 39 at the last particular portion. This would not fire. So think of it in the line along the lines of, I always just figured it more of like an AV signature, for lack of a better phrase, to put it. Effectively, you are taking a sample and you are looking for distinguishing characteristics. So you're looking for so like this one, it's looking for strings, error option, usage, colon, %s, c.d/%s, star, space, stop, show this help message and exit. And the strings effectively what you would get by running strings against a file and taking a look at seeing the stuff that comes out. No, that's not something that you can see through here. So if you had enterprise version of VirusTotal, they have a content tab where you can basically take a look at the strings as the stuff was pulled out. But since we don't have this particular portion here, we could go through and get strings by sysinternals. And then we could just run strings against that and basically have it popped out to say a text file, and we'd have a copy of all the strings that would be through there. And that might be something that we actually end up having to do. But right now, I want to just copy this over so that way we've got the VirusTotal in the background. Okay, so what are we looking for next? What is the assembly instruction that stores the hex opcode in the YARA rule? CDE? No. Okay, so we've moved on past the point by this point. So we've been able to sit there, examine the YARA rule, and I think we've pulled all the answers out of there, with the exception of hybrid analysis. So we'll pull that up. What is the file signature in the YARA rule? Okay, so now we're kind of bringing that portion back. So we'll take care of that particular aspect. And that's down here in the condition statement. Actually, wait, this is all a text document, so can't I increase the font size? Control num plus, okay. We'll make that bigger for everybody. So basically down in here, we got the uint 32. From the YARA rule, that is the only actual file signature that's in there. Okay, and then the rest we need IDA. Yes, okay. Well, we've extracted the sample, so we've got all that. So let's go ahead and get I'll be relocating. So let's go ahead and get IDA pulled up. We'll go back to challenge. We'll grab the SHA-256 hash equals file name file, and we'll just dump it into IDA. And we already know that it's ELF because we ran the thing through. Oh, and now I need to remember, where was the auto comments, I believe. There we go. And then we need to look for the hex opcode in IDA. So 66, 30, 66. Can we just do for... No, you couldn't find it? Apparently not. Find all occurrences. Pattern was not found. Okay. So let's try... Can we do it by immediate value? Missing semicolon. Okay, how about hex? And we can find it right here. Okay, just without the spaces, or at least that sequence. It's not the full sequence because it should be 66, 30, 66, H. So then that should be MOV? No. Racks? Okay. So they're looking for more of the aspects. So I was looking at the far left, where it's MOV. Instead, it's RAX, comma, and then the sequence of code. What is the address that we can find with? The address that we can find. So here's the register. So what is it? 0x3A20? X3A20? As the start? No? Alright, what about the end? So 0x4569. No. It was there in the search when it returned back. Address.text colon 0000000. Okay, so what do you specifically want for this? Answer format should be 0 and then 4 digits, which is exactly what we have. Because address is 3 Bravo 51. So that would make it all the zeros. 3 Bravo 51? Yes. What is the name of the function that has CD2? All right, so we're looking for what's CD2? Copy. So we'll take that particular portion. We had luck with the binary search string. And what we end up finding is start underscore routine. Comes back with that with the instruction of push space R12. So start underscore routine. Booyah. So what does that look like? That just brings us up into here. So we're doing some subtraction. Okay, so we're done with it effectively. So we bring up this, so we get the hybrid analysis from the link. So I don't think we're going to need the RDP showing up. So we need the threat level on the sample timestamped September 1st, 2022. So we'll take the hash and we will do report search. And there we go. We got September 1st. Although I guess the question is, did they expect us to go through and do... Okay, they want us to do it with the YARA rules. So I guess I should probably do that just to show that particular aspect. So what we're going to do is just go back to the RDP session. I am grabbing and copying and grabbing the contents of the sample.yar that we already had open in Notepad++. Oh, I've got to log in order to do that. Okay, well, that's fine. So we dump that in there and hunt samples. Oh, I agree. I mean, we should end up with roughly the same exact results anyways, but I understand as to why they would put the timestamp in there just in case we see an influx of this stuff and we get something else. But we already kind of know because effectively, okay, yeah, it's malicious. I mean, no duh. It's ransomware. But let's just see as to what this populates back with. Or will it actually populate back with? Okay, let's try this again. Now that I have turned off the block origin for this. Maybe? Or have I done broke the thing? agree on samples. Let's see as to whether or not if this resolves the... So I guess where this is going, if you're watching this video the day it comes out, Microsoft Patch Tuesday was this current week, and you should really make sure if you've got a system with a Wi-Fi card in it, going through and applying updates. Because apparently there was something to do with Wi-Fi drivers and remote code execution that is apparently proximity based. Maybe something in terms of Windows systems looking for, or basically the handshake back and forth for wireless networks. So if you haven't already, make sure to go through and get stuff patched. Okay, we got actually 3 results. Whereas if we just did the hash, we got 2 results. But they take us to the same exact portion. September 1st, 2022, 16:11:41 UTC, which again just basically tells us, okay, threat level, malicious. And so if we just pop that in there and submit it, bing, a bang, a boom. Now I know the other aspect is that I believe Virus Total has started to sit there and release the next generation of YARA. I believe it's YARA-X. I think there was supposedly supposed to be a good deal of backwards compatibility with everything else, but I believe it was a rewrite. I'll go through and see if I can't find that, along with a couple of rewrite of YARA in Rust. And then provide APIs for C, C++, Python, and Go. So yeah, I'll include that as well, because I mean, if you're going to go through and you've actually got an interest in YARA rules, which are a very good thing, especially if you need to go through and hunt through something that, say maybe you just have like a hash, or you've got a particular file, but you want to see as to whether or not if there might be potentially something else that's slightly different, since it only takes a single bit of change in order for the hash to be different. If you can find important enough strings, anything else along those lines, when you reverse everything, they give you something to go off of. But yeah, it looks like it's everything basically stems out the same. Conditions, everything else like that. But if you're going to do YARA, you might as well start also seeing as to where the difference is with YARA X. YARA-X. YARA 2. Wait, no, if it's X, it would be 10 for Roman numerals. I don't think we need to think that deep into it. But I'll put that stuff together. Oh, there's also another associated one. Oh yeah, and then of course we get the extracted strings through all this stuff, so we could try to... Let's take a look at all the strings. So what did you specifically in this thing? Let me move RDP off to the side. So error option. So that was a unique string that we're looking for. Not C, unknown option. There's usage. That was another one that we were looking for. And supposedly there should be C.D. Oh, yep, right there. They don't do the... Oh no, because that's supposed to be C.D. And it should be stop, not UH. But effectively, this is the aspect you would go through, and I suppose if you ran it through this, you could sit there and try to build a rule up off of this particular aspect. So of course we don't see the stop, but there still would be enough for C.D / %S asterisk. And that would be the other aspect too. And then you'd use YARA to go through, scan a system, or if you've got um, capability to sit there and do it from like a remote agent or anything else along those lines. So think like your AV or EDR, and if it's got YARA support, basically build out a rule that will look for some interesting strings and then basically just turn it loose on your workstations and servers and see if you can find stuff. But then, much like old school heuristic detections, just because it matches does not necessarily mean that it's malicious. What if C.D / %S asterisk is used in a few other things that are fully legitimate? Of course, typically having tight restrictions on the conditions of your rule will get you around false positives because you need to have a certain level. But if you don't really know as to what the strings might potentially return back in your environment, you might have to do a couple of rule iterations to tighten it up enough. And then at the same time that you're praying that effectively enough of the code of the malware doesn't change, assuming that you've still got like an active infection or active compromise. But so there we go. That has been the YARA Rule challenge on Let's Defend. And again, if you are holding off on this month's Windows updates, highly suggest, especially if you have a Wi-Fi card, going through and getting those pushed through. Obviously, if you're still running, Windows 10, but you don't have Wi-Fi, you're just entirely hardwired, God bless you. Then you can wait a little bit longer, probably. But it seems like Wi-Fi is effectively where everything's moving, which, I don't know. It is what it is, and it's not what it's not. But with all that being said, I will see everybody in the next video.